So the Rangers came out on home ice in game 5 of the second round series against the Carolina Hurricanes with a 3-1 series lead and had a absolutely pitiful performance in front of their fans. They lost 4-1. It was a very lackluster third period that lost them the game after they were up 1-0 and a chance to close out the series. Since game 4, the Hurricanes have traded quantity for quality in their scoring chances. Just look at the third period in game 5. I mean, not including the empty netter, all of their goals came off really good chances and they were quick. They weren't off cycles or extended offensive zone shifts like they were getting in the first 3 games, and each were capitalized off the Rangers' mistakes. My immediate reaction to the third period was that it felt like the Rangers had lost the series, which sounds crazy when you realize that they still lead the series 3-2. So maybe that was just the Mets fan in me looking for the other shoe to drop. Feeling this way was certainly a surprise for me because I'm always optimistic. I'm optimistic D. I try to look for the silver linings when things don't go the Rangers' way. The only immediate silver lining I could come up with was that everyone predicted that this series was going 6 or 7 games. That's it. So to cope, what did I do? I went and watched the 1994 Road to Victory Rangers Stanley Cup champion documentary. And I got to say, the 1994 comparisons, people have gone nuts with these comparisons. And why wouldn't they? I mean, things have played out so closely to what happened in 1994. But to me, it isn't as simple as saying the Rangers won the President's Trophy and swept the first round in 2024. You know when the last time they did that was? 1994. Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup this year. It's not that simple. All that stuff can be considered coincidental. Just because they won in 1994 and they have a similar record today doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion that the Rangers will win the Stanley Cup this year. The comparisons to 94 go a lot deeper than coincidental events separated by 30 years, which brings me to my next point. All championship teams must overcome adversity. I didn't watch this documentary just to make myself feel better after a pitiful performance in game 5 with a chance to move on. I watched it because I wanted to see how exactly the 94 team was able to overcome all their obstacles and win the franchise's first Stanley Cup in 54 years. Many people recognize the 94 team as the one that broke the curse, and that team is widely considered to be the most loved in the franchise's 97 season history. Surely there have been great Rangers teams we love throughout its long history. For me, it was the 2014 Rangers. For others, it was the 79 Rangers. Those are just 2 of 11 Rangers squads that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But what separated the 1994 team from those other teams was that they were the only one to overcome all adversity. In the regular season of 1994, Mike Keenan benched Brian Leetch against the Mighty Ducks at MSG. Leetch responded, and the Rangers dominated the regular season and 2 rounds of the playoffs until they met the Devils in the conference finals, where Keenan started benching players again, leading to Messier standing up before game 4 for his teammates. That wasn't enough immediately, as they lost game 5 on home ice to fall to a 3-2 series deficit, which is when Mark Messier famously guaranteed a win in game 6. That wasn't enough either, as the Devils dominated the first period of that game, taking a 2-0 lead into the second period, which is when things finally started to change, as Alexei Kovalov scored a huge goal to get it to 2-1 at the end of 2. The rest is history. Then in the finals, the Rangers lost a heartbreaker in game 1 in overtime at MSG. They responded with 3 straight wins, leading them to the brink of clinching a Stanley Cup on home ice in game 5, only for a valiant comeback attempt down 3-0 in the game to get erased with a shocking 6-3 defeat, followed by a thumping in game 6, bringing it to a game 7 back at MSG where anything could happen. We know how this story ends. The Rangers came prepared, held on, and got the job done. Think of it this way. The 1994 team is the only Rangers team in 84 years to pass all their trials and tribulations en route to a Stanley Cup. And that is the reason they are so revered and celebrated. It's a legend. It's a prophecy. The 2024 Rangers are on that journey right now. Think of all the obstacles the Rangers have already overcome this year. Playing for a new coach in Peter Laviolette, a rough stretch of hockey in December and January, overcoming the 3-goal deficit in the Stadium Series when everyone thought they were down and out, holding on to both the division and President's Trophy at the end of the season when they started to lose a couple games, getting the first round done early when they were notorious for prolonging series, getting a stranglehold on round 2, going up 3-0, winning that big, huge game 3 in overtime after blowing 2 consecutive 2-0 series leads, not including that Washington series. And what they are facing now, having gone up 3-0, facing the possibility of being the 5th team in NHL history to blow a 3-0 series lead. The 2024 team has a chance to be just the second team in 84 years to reach the level of that 94 team. And in doing so, they would cement their legacy in Rangers history. They would be their own distinct, authentic team others would look back on 30 years from now. That possibility should be exciting not only for fans, but for the players too. And hopefully it serves as motivation for them to get the job done in Game 6 in Carolina. Otherwise, the feeling will change if the series goes back to MSG because anything can happen in a Game 7.